And also a reminder to students to attempt the poll questions. Done, Pooja. Start.
A very good afternoon to respected resource person Shraddha ma'am and to all the dear participants. I, Pooja Tiwari, on behalf of Lala Lajpat Rai College of Commerce and Economics and Rotary Club of Virar, once again welcome you all to our second last session of the certificate course on the topic Practicing Self-Care. We often focus solely on our physical health, but looking after our mental health is also vital to our sense of well being. Of all the people in the world that deserve your love and kindness, you deserve it the most. You show so much compassion for others, it's time to show yourself some care. As rightly stated by Louis L. Hay, that remember, you have been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens. So, moving on with this beautiful quote, let's get started for today's session. I would request Ms. Swabika to kindly introduce our guest speaker for today. Over to you, Swabika.
Thank you so much, Pooja. It's my honor and privilege to introduce our resource person, Ms. Shraddha Polmap. She is a counseling psychologist, has experience in working with children, adolescents, and young youths. She has conducted workshop trainings and individuals counseling using eclectic approach of therapies. She has previously worked with children and young adults who are victims of and are rescued from commercial sexual exploitation, sexual abuse, immoral trafficking, and beginning as a counselor where she did one-to-one counseling and group therapies. She has also mentored specialized social case in workers in extending counseling assistance. She's well versed with workshop deliver for school, colleges, NGOs, and communities. She has conducted various trainings with varied stakeholders and working with juvenile justice system. She has deep interest in the field of mental health and aims to spread awareness through the work in this field. Ma'am, I would request you to take over the session for today.
Thank you so much, Pooja, and thank you so much, Swabika, for your kind words. And thank you so much for having me here today. So, this session, I'll be like very privileged to be taking over and interacting with students. So, first of all, I'd like to say hi. How's everybody doing? All good? Not good? What's happening? Okay. So Pooja says all well. Okay. So I'd like to ask, have your colleges started? Like, are you going? Okay. Okay. So how does it feel after like a year and a half of lockdown, like attending colleges after such a long hiatus? Is every like, how is it going? Very fresh? Okay. Okay. And what was happening when it was like you were in a lockdown, you were at your place? What was happening then in your mind? Bored and frustrated, absolutely. Hey, what about the other participants? Boredom, okay, absolutely. Very lethargic, absolutely. So when will the college? Oh, right. Absolutely. Like we all had this question that we are so bored of this lockdown. We just want to get out of this and get back to colleges, right? So, what we can see over here is that there were varied emotions, right? Some were bored, some were feeling lethargic, some were like, okay, when is the college going to start? So there are like a lot of thoughts and a lot of emotions that went into this whole thing. So, like today's topic, like how Pooja introduced. So, we'll be talking about self care and being kind to your own mind, right? So, when I talk about mind or something, like what is the first thing that comes? Like, immediately, what strikes? What is mind? Can anybody tell me? or what do you, or I'll just rephrase my question. So, what comes to your mind when I say mental health? Our thoughts, okay, okay. Our mind controls our thoughts, okay. Our feelings, great. So basically, that's absolutely correct responses. And when I talk about mental health, right? So what comes to your mind? We spoke about mind. Now, what happens or what comes to your mind when I say mental health? Our emotions, okay. Well-being, okay. Overthinking some things, okay. Energy, absolutely. I am so glad to receive these responses because yes, because whenever we ask this question, that what is mental health, we've always gotten answers like it's stress, it's depression, it's like not being mentally sound or not being able to function properly in the society, right? So I'm so glad to receive such positive responses. Thank you so much, students. So absolutely, like mental health, right, is our thought process, how we think, how we are feeling at this point, right? Our emotions, right? So all of this becomes a part of our mental health, right? So for students especially, mental health is extremely important. Can somebody say why? Can somebody tell me why is it extremely important? Guys, you can unmute also. That's completely fine. Peace. Okay, Nikita says peace. What peace, Nikita? Which peace are we talking about here? Mental peace, right? To have a calm mind, absolutely. But inner peace, right? But with the things, there are a lot of things going on right now. So, do we think that we are getting that inner peace, or we're getting that, what we say, is our mind calm? Can we say that? Is there any split second in our entire day when our mind is not clouded with thoughts? Does that happen? No. Right? Absolutely. There are hundreds and thousands of thoughts going on in our mind, right? And the way we look at it, the way we deal with it is extremely important, right? So, whatever thoughts we get in our mind, the thoughts can be negative, the thoughts can be positive as well, right? Like it's not, what do we say? It's not always possible to have positive thoughts. At the same time, it's not always possible to have negative thoughts. But our brain, our mind is wired in such a way that our attention gets focused on the negatives first, right? And in this whole process, what happens is we generally tend to neglect our mind. Ki, what is going on in my mind? What am I thinking actually? Is this actually necessary? Why am I getting so stressed? What is happening to me? Right? This all is very important to think, right? So now, before we start our topic for today, I'd like to ask, how is everyone feeling at this moment? Right now it's 4:09 p.m. What is your feeling right now? Like for me, I am feeling extremely excited for this session. What is everybody feeling? One word answer, that's it. Stressed. Okay, great, nice. Amazed. Okay. So we have kind of like a mix of responses where everybody is like, okay, happy, cheerful, amazed, but some of you are stressed, right? Can I ask, why are you stressed? What is it that's causing you stress? Anybody who can answer? Are your exams coming up? Is it that your exams are up or they're just over? No, it's just got over. Okay. Okay, great, great. So, what is the thing that is causing you stress? Because of overthinking. Okay, absolutely. Who finds this as a problem? Overthinking. Like continuously, there's a cycle of thoughts running in my mind. Oh, absolutely. The reason for being stressed is a new variant of COVID-19 is up, and like we've started our offline routines, right? So absolutely that stress is absolutely valid, and I completely understand that it is stressful because every single day we're getting to hear some or the other news about COVID and some or the other variant being introduced, and it's really tiring for us to be like, "Ki, yes, it's absolutely a risk attending offline colleges, right? But the thing is, like, we have to resume our normal sometime soon, right? Yes, it's it's not safe or everything, but as far as we take our precautions, I think it's somewhere manageable, right? So like, are we do we have students who are 18 plus over here? Like, I just asked that because of the vaccination. Is everybody vaccinated? Okay, yes, yes, great, great. So I think for now, we don't have that much to worry about, but yes, the worry is absolutely valid. Absolutely, absolutely. That after taking the vaccines, also, people are suffering. Yes, that's absolutely a valid concern. And yes, it is very much serious. Uh, but of course, like, the condition in which we were a year back or a year and a half back, that has definitely improved. Like, there are vaccinations, there are medications, right? So, that thing can be tackled, right? Yes, somebody is saying that we try not to overthink, but we'll end up doing it. Yes, absolutely. The more you're like, I don't want to overthink, the more you'll end up doing it. Yes, it's absolutely natural. So that is what happens. Thank you so much, guys, for your responses. And now I would really like to begin our session. Can I share my screen over here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Great. So our topic is being kind to your mind, right? So first of all, I would really like to ask you guys, what is your definition of being kind? Like, I've started my presentation now, so I won't be able to, I think, see your responses in the chat box. So I would request you to, if somebody wants to answer, they can unmute and they can answer.
Ma'am, actually, they will not be able to unmute because at times
Oh,
it leads to disturbances. But
okay,
you
okay,
can
okay.
open your chat box, ma'am,
Oh, oh, great, great.
from the top share bar.
Okay, I'll just pin it up over here so that I'm able to see.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, so what is your definition of being kind? What does being kind mean to you? Having a gentle response, to speak the truth. Yes, being honest. Absolutely. Don't stress out your mind. Being polite. Yes, absolutely. Okay, great. Uh, Not to be harsh. Okay. Thank you so much for your responses, guys. So, being kind has different definitions for everybody. है ना? So, what happens is when you're kind, you try not to be harsh, or you try to be polite, or you try not to hurt. But whom are you doing this with? Is another question. You try not to hurt whom, or you try to be polite to whom? Can we have the answers? kind and honest with everyone? Yes, the way everybody's answering, most probably for others, right? Absolutely. Mostly with the opposite person. Some people, yes, are responding to oneself, and that's really great. But what we tend to do is when we think about being kind, it's most generally for others, like, the way we interact with them. You know? So, what happens is when we talk about kindness, it's generally associated with the opposite person. है ना? So, if I were to ask you, what is that one thing, one deed of kindness that you've done for other people? Like only one, if you have to just say. Like maybe, for example, I helped somebody cross a road. Like I could see that the person is unable to do so, and I did that. I helped him. What are some of the acts that you have done for being kind? To understand others. Okay. Yes, that's an act of kindness. Absolutely. To understand others. What else have you done? It can be anything. It doesn't have to be related to people itself. Yes, absolutely. Listening to someone when they need, uh, dropping a person somewhere. Absolutely. So I want to ask, like, do we have two minds about it? Like, if somebody needs our help, right? We just do it. We don't think about, okay, should I not? Are we hesitant to help? Are we hesitant to be kind to others? No, we're not. Generally, we are not, right? So what happens is the same thing, the immediacy with which we respond with kindness to others, can we say that it's the same immediacy with which we are being kind to our own self? No. Can anybody say why? Can anybody tell me what can be the reasons we are not that kind to our own self? We take ourselves for granted. Absolutely. That's a really good point, ma'am. We take ourselves for granted, right? That we are like, okay, no, I'll be able to do it. No, ye mujhse ho jayega. But when we see that it's not happening, right? When we are like, okay, I'm not able to do it, we are generally hard on our own selves. How is it that you're not able to do it? How is it that it's such a simple thing? How are you not able to do it? Right? We expect perfection from ourselves. Absolutely. If one thing goes wrong, right? For example, we're making a presentation. If one thing goes wrong, we write everything, we prepare the whole night for it. And if we miss out on one thing, what happens? We just blow it out on ourselves, right? We are like, how could you make such a silly mistake? You had prepared so much, you had prepared the entire night. We blame ourselves. Absolutely right, Pooja. We blame ourselves, right? So this is what happens. So do you think when this happens, like we're blaming ourselves, we're being too harsh on ourselves, we are not properly concentrating, we're not properly taking care of ourselves, we're not being kind to ourselves, what happens then? Where does it lead? Where does it take you? Can we say that it's a healthy condition or it's an unhealthy one? No, it's not. It's not healthy. Absolutely right. Unhealthy. Yes. Thank you so much, guys. It's absolutely unhealthy, right? Because one thing can lead to a lot of other problems, right? As it is, we're faced with different kinds of problems, be it our education related, be it uh, family related, be it anything else, be it our career, be it the tension that we have, the constant stress that we have, right? Due to these things, we are harsh on ourselves, and that in turn leads to us having low self esteem, right? Because we think that, oh, how could I do this? It's such a silly thing. right? So what happens is our confidence becomes very low. We start feeling that, okay, we're not worth it. Okay, I'm not going to be able to do it. It's not my cup of tea, right? So this thing can lead to much bigger things in the end, right? Is everybody clear till here? Okay. There seems to be some problem with my PPT. Just a minute. Okay. Okay. So we have a case study over here. Okay. So first is, if your friend forgets to present a topic in a group presentation, you have a group presentation going on. There's your teacher, your ma'am sitting in front of you, your professor, all of your classmates are sitting in front of you, right? And your friend just forgets to present a topic, just forgets. And so what would be your first reaction? Can anybody tell me? First reaction. Anger. Anger. Disappointment. How to cover it up, right? Your first reaction would be anger. Okay. Anxious, right? Right. Okay. So confused. Okay. So basically, what happens over here is, do you 100% feel angry? For example, if your friend forgets to, whatever the case is given, your friend forgets to present that topic, do you feel 100% angry? No, right? A part of you feels angry, है ना? A part of you might feel confused, a part of you might feel sad, a part of you might feel bad also for the person. Ki, okay, he must have prepared, but due to like he was stressed, for example, that's why he could not present and that's why he forgot, right? So what happens is, we choose to concentrate on anger. That's what happens, right? It's our first reaction, है ना? But when we look at it in retrospect, we're like, okay, anger was exactly not my emotion at that point. I was feeling a lot of emotions, है ना? But I chose to show anger. My mind chose to show anger. That's what happens, right? Now, the second scenario is, if you, in that group presentation, if you forgot to present a topic, what is your reaction? Again, I think again it would be the same thing. Anger, disappointment, right? You would be like, yes, awkward, absolutely. You'd be like, oh, because you realize, right, that you have forgotten, right? So this is what happens. Exactly. And what happens is, okay, once the presentation is over, okay, you've forgotten to present the topic or whatever. And then what happens is, you constantly beat yourself up for it. You're like, "Ki, how could I do this?" When people are trying to tell you, ki, okay, for example, when your friend does this, right, and he's feeling extremely bad about it. So wouldn't you go and tell that person, ki, Arey, it's okay. Sometimes it happens, right? But when, right, absolutely. So what happens is, we try to calm that person down. Ki, okay, it's okay, it happens. Hota hai. But when the same thing comes to us, even when other people are trying to pacify us by saying that it's okay, it happens, hota hai, chalta hai, we are not able to get out of that downward spiral. We are constantly like, no, how could I do this? How could I do it? It's such a silly mistake. It's my mistake. Because of me, the entire presentation suffered, right? This is what our thought process is, right? So this is where we're not being kind to ourselves. है ना? What happens is, we are bound to make mistakes as humans. To err is human, right? Humans absolutely make mistakes, and we have to be okay with that fact, that it is all right to make a mistake. We don't have to constantly beat ourselves up for it, right? But being our nature, or we're wired that way, ki, okay, we're really hard on ourselves, right? So this is what we're trying to look over here and be like, "Ki, we need to be kind to ourselves," right? The part, the whatever reactions we are feeling, the part which is feeling kindness, we have to choose to show that part, not only to others but to your own selves as well. uh, so sorry. Okay, so that's what this entire thing is entailed at, and this whole session is focused upon, that you have to be kind to others as well as yourself, right? The last 1.5 year has been really hard on us, really hard, with the lockdown going on, with the COVID happening. We might have had cases where our family members had suffered from COVID. So all of this, it was constantly going on. Initially, when COVID had come, nobody was believing this fact. They were like, "Ki, no, it's nothing like it. It's just a myth, and it's just a rumor. Nothing like that is going to happen." But when it actually hit us that this is happening, this is what is going on. Okay. So what happens? Yeah. So this is what was going on, right? And it was especially hard on our physical health, on our mental health, especially because we were in a state of uncertainty. We did not know what to do, what to think, what to say, how to behave, because suddenly it was unprecedented. We did not have any idea that this was going to happen, right? So in such situations, like, God forbid we are never caught up in a situation like this, but there are other situations which are distressful, right? There are other situations which are maybe not as serious as this one, but when such situations come our way, we need to be thinking about them, right? What we do is, when a situation comes in front of us, we immediately react, like almost immediately, right? Whatever happens, like for example, you're not, you did not fare well in your exams. Okay, you expected some kind of a percentage, you did not get it. The first reaction is what? Sadness. The first reaction is disappointment. The first reaction is anger, right? We tend to generally blame, self blame also, and blame others as well, right? Oh, the papers were set so difficult. How could we have performed well, right? Blaming others. Blaming self would be, I should have done better. I should have known better. I should have put more efforts into it, right? So, what happens is, when such situations, we are encountered with such situations, we have to consciously choose the option of being kind to others because they are in the same position, or maybe they are in a similar situation like you are, right? So, generally, we say that, okay, if I've been through something, I would never want somebody else to go through it, right? And when I see somebody going through the same situation, we are naturally empathetic towards them, you know. This is what naturally comes out of us. So we have to be mindful enough that naturally, when it gets extended to the others, we have to extend that to ourselves as well, right? Because after all, we ourselves are extremely important, right? Because if we are not ourselves, we are not going to be able to be uh, helping anybody, right? So this is what we have to remember over here, you know. Also, generally we are set in the frame of blaming ourselves, or set in the frame of, okay, taking yourself for granted, right? So if we try to hit this change, it is going to take some time, right? It's not going to happen within a blink of an eye. No, it's going to take a lot of time, but we have to be patient, right? We have to be absolutely patient. We have to be very, very mindful of what we are doing and how we are being kind to ourselves, right? That is extremely important, right? It's not going to happen in a day. We have to, it's a continuous process, right? How education is a process, same way. the process of being kind to yourself, the process of self esteem, the process of self love, right? It's a huge process, and it's a process which takes a lot of time. And we have to be with ourselves to love ourselves, right? Is everybody okay till here? Okay, great. Okay. So now, handling our emotional problems. Does everybody have emotional problems over here? Is there anybody who doesn't have? Right. The amount of yeses I'm getting in the chat box, it's right. Absolutely. Everybody has emotional problems, right? The way we deal with it is extremely important. Can I ask anybody to put up in the chat box that if you are faced with an emotional problem, how is it that you deal with it? What is your reaction, or what is your course of action when you deal with a problem? What do you do? Do we sit, do we analyze the problem, or do we react? Think of ways to get through it. Absolutely. What is your instant reaction? Like, for example, I'm going through some emotional turmoil. Okay, okay, there's some concern in my family. I am going through with it, and I really don't know what to do. And it's been going on since a long time. So I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to deal. Every day I'm getting frustrated. Every day I'm being asked about it. Every day I'm feeling low. Right. So what do we do? We find out different ways to deal with it. And as there are 76 people here, right? 76 people will have 76 different ways of dealing with their emotional problems. And we cannot say that any way is right or wrong, right? So, for example, if I just want to sit quietly or go to sleep, that's my dealing process with my emotional problems. If I feel better by doing it, I will do it, to be very honest, right? Or if I just want to sit quietly and just think and analyze, or be just like, okay, let my anger just calm down, right? So these are different ways in which we tend to handle our problems, be it emotional, be it anything, right? But at the same time, when an adversity hits us, right, we generally tend to react. All of these things come at a much later stage when we are actually mindful about the problem. These things come later. Firstly, what we do is we tend to react, right? Because when we are faced with a problem, our natural tendency is to be defensive. We're constantly on the guard, right? When any problem hits us. So we tend to react a lot. Hannah? So what happens is when we react, we tend to make things much more worse than the actual problem, right? We need to remember that whatever our reaction is to any problem or any situation, most of our problems arise from there, right? If, for example, if to any emotional problem, my reaction is anger, my reaction is frustration, my reaction is continuous bickering, right? I am going to worsen it for my own self. Yes, it hurts at first. Absolutely, it does. It's absolutely valid and it's absolutely correct that it does hurt. Yes. But later, when we try to analyze it, we find a way to solve, right? So, how can you finally analyze it, right? The reaction which comes across is valid, but that's how we tend to react, right? But when we actually feel, ki, okay, maybe I did not react in a proper way, or maybe this reaction was not really required, right? So when we understand that at a later stage, we need to ask ourselves, okay, whatever happened with me, was it under my control? Did I have any sort of a control over it? If yes, how can I make it better? If no, if the situation was something which was extremely out of my control, I cannot do much about it, right? So, constantly thinking about it, getting yourself into that negative spiral is not going to help you, right? Or am I unnecessarily worrying about it? Okay, what will happen or what can happen? Like, for example, somebody said about a new variant of COVID coming up, right? So I understand that's a very valid news. It is coming up, but is it under my control? Can I do something about it? I can't, right? So what happens is, what might happen in the future? What if this variant comes to our country? What if we face another lockdown, or what if we are faced with another adversity? What do we do then? See, this would be a worry which is not required at the point, right? Whenever that happens, we have to deal with it. If it doesn't, it's really great. But if at all it does, and God forbid it does, we will have to deal with it anyhow, right? So, our worrying about what will happen or what can happen is not going to help the situation, right? Also, we need to think that, whenever in the past, if I've been stressed a lot, how have I managed? What did I do? What have I, what coping mechanisms have I adopted that would have helped me, that has helped me, right? We try to apply those again. For example, if previously, if I was under stress, breathing, for example, because when we get stressed, not only our mind but our body reacts as well, right? We tend to get sweaty palms, we tend to get palpitations, right? So when this happens, so I try to calm my body down first, right? Be it breathing techniques or being just like, stepping out for a while, getting some air, right? So these things I can do. If these things have helped me in the past, there is a chance that these might help me in my future or my current situation as well, right? Nothing can help the situation, but everything will help your reaction to the situation, right? Also, what are the other things that I can help myself to be positive? This comes at a much later stage, right? When you have analyzed, you've finished analyzing the problems and you've finished answering these three questions, then comes ki, okay, if something is happening, what can I do? Right? How can I help myself to be positive? How can I help and how can I be much more understanding towards the problem and much more vigilant about what's going on, right? I understand that it becomes very difficult to be able to think about these things on the spot. It's difficult, but we have to get ourselves into the practice of it. Am I clear till here? Can we go ahead? Okay, great. So what are the ways do you think that make you feel good? Is there anything that makes you feel good? For example, for me, music is my getaway. Be it anything. Like, I'll just, if there's something which is bothering me, I will just plug in my earbuds and I will be listening to music. Music is my getaway. What is your getaway? Is there anything that you love to do? Music or eat something? Wow, absolutely. Humor, great. Drawing, amazing. Right, absolutely. So everybody has different ways in which they can deal with it, which makes them feel better. Dance, meeting friends, absolutely. These are ways which will help you reconnect, which will help you rejuvenate, which will help you not think of your problem, right? So, absolutely, these are some of the ways in which we can deal with our problems, or we can do these things to make ourselves feel better, right? And I just saw a response which said eating. Like, I personally love eating a lot. So, yes, Music and eating are my getaways. Yes, definitely. So, like, for example, eating something sweet or eating a chocolate, it releases endorphins. Endorphins are your happy hormones, right? So, yes, definitely, these are all your getaways, right? Doing this makes you happy. Doing this makes you feel good, right? So, and makes you not think about the problem. For some time, when you're drawing or when you're dancing or when you're with your friends, what happens is we are distanced from the problem over here. Physically, the problem is there, but mentally, we are distanced from the problem. And that is what matters the most, right? Physically, yes, you have to deal with the problem. Mentally, you have to deal with it more. So, the more calm you are mentally, the more effectively you will be able to deal with that problem, right? So, what we can do is we can stay connected with our friends, our family, we can communicate with them, right? Whenever we feel low or whenever we are faced with any adversity, right, we can always go back, we can always fall back on our family, we can always fall back on our friends and be like, okay, this is my problem, this is what is happening with me, what can I do, right? I need your help, you know. So we can obviously do that, and help is always available, right? Like we're discussing being kind to your mind, right? In the same process we have to be kind to others as well, you know. Also, talking about your distressful feelings, I would really like to ask over here, has anybody ever tried talking about what they feel, be it anything, positive, negative, anything? Have they tried talking to anybody about it? Yes. Okay. Yes, with someone close, absolutely. So I'd like to ask you guys, how does it feel when you talk about something which is bothering you a lot? How does it feel when you talk to them? Does it feel like, yeah, does it feel like, okay, no, this is not helping me, I shouldn't do this? Or does it feel that, okay, no, okay, this is helping me. Okay, now I feel a bit relaxed, right? बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल कुशल जी, दुःख बाँटने से कम होता है, खुशियाँ बाँटने से बढ़ती है. Good, absolutely. So this is what happens. Okay, depends on the response I get. Absolutely. Great. So thank you so much for these responses. Yes, we do feel relieved. We do feel a sort of calmness when we're like, okay, I, I feel like, okay, now that I've spoken with my friend or now that I've spoken with somebody who's closer to me, I feel shant, I feel calm. I feel like somebody can help me. I feel like my problem can get solved, right? So this is what we're encouraging. So talk about your distressful feelings. Don't keep it to yourself, because keeping it to yourself is going to harm you. It is not going to help you in any way, right? So we have to do these things. We have to be engaged with our own selves, right? When we love our own selves, we'll be able to be kind to our own selves, right? How many of you over here practice self love? I do. Anybody who practices self love? Right. Okay. So far, I've just got one response. Okay. Can we define what is self love? Can anybody? Yes, absolutely. Can anybody define self love? Is there any definition if we go to talk about it? Right? Because there isn't. Self love is something that you do, something that you practice, something that you love about, absolutely love about your own self, right? Yes, absolutely. It is subjective, right? When we accept ourselves the way we are, right? We're constantly pressurized to be perfect, right? Constantly pressurized to be perfect. I have to be perfect. I have to be perfect in studies. I have to be perfect in my academics. I have to be perfect in my career. I have to excel at it. I have to have a really great job when I'm 40 years old. Like society has defined these things for us, right? But when we see our own selves, what we do is we are going with the flow. Okay, this is what has been is being followed, and this is what I'm going to do, right? There's nothing wrong with it. If you feel content following it, please go ahead. But if there is something that you feel ki no, this is not me, I'm not cut out for this, right? So we at that same time, what society perceives to be perfect might be different from my own definition of being perfect. Like for me, being perfect is being imperfect, right? So this is what self love is all about: accepting myself the way I am, with all of my flaws and my mistakes, right? So this is what we need to learn, and it's the biggest thing that we can learn. It is going to help us a lot, right? So how do we self love? How do we do this, right? Just it can be absolutely a simple thing where we are like where we are following that one thing that we like, doing that one thing that we like. For example, if I love cooking, I am going to take out half an hour to 1 hour from my day, from my routine, to do what I like. Exactly, by doing whatever makes you happy, whatever it is. Going out with my friends makes me happy, music makes me happy, food makes me happy. Doing it can be as simple as doing those things, or as difficult as self reflection. How am I behaving? Is my behavior something which is, you know, bringing peace to me and to others, or there's something that I need to change? It can be as difficult as that. But let's start from smaller steps and we'll go to the bigger goals, right? Is everybody okay till here? Great. So over here, we're going to do a little bit of an activity where I would really like you all to write down your qualities, like whatever. Yes, absolutely. Sometimes when we are angry, we hurt our near ones. Yes, we do. That's our reaction to the anger, not to the people, right? That's our reaction to the situation, whatever is making us angry. At that point, we need to tell ourselves that, okay, once we are angry and once we have reacted, after some time, we calm down, we realize ki, okay, I maybe should not have reacted that way. Something went wrong, right? So what is our immediate thing that we do? We go, we talk to that person and be like, I'm really sorry if this hurt you. This was not my intention. I was really mad at something which was not related to you probably, and I should have been more mindful in such a situation, right? And when we do that, we have to make conscious efforts that this thing is not repeated. And the most important thing over here is not to beat yourself up for it, right? Yes, it was something which was inappropriate, but we have to be okay with it because I have done it. I completely understand. I should not have done it, but it has happened now. I can't change it, right? So, in this manner, we can make ourselves understand. And if we take those conscious efforts to not repeat this mistake ever, or for the next time, we will gradually learn to love ourselves, right? We just have to be with ourselves forever, even if nobody's there, right? We generally tend to depend a lot on external validation from people, from our close people, whoever knows us. We want that, and there's nothing wrong with wanting it. But when we don't get it, it affects us, right? So we have to be self-content. We have to be like, even if nobody is giving us that validation that we need, that appreciation that we need, we just need to remember that it's you who needs to identify your efforts, and it's you who needs to be content with it, right? Even if others are not. That's how we learn to love ourselves, right? I hope I have answered your question, Mahalakshmi ma'am. So now over here, for this activity, I want you guys to write down your qualities, whatever qualities that you have. You don't have to write it in a chat box. In the chat box, you can write it separately in your own notepad, and just write down whatever you feel, like whatever your qualities are. Like for example, I am very soft spoken. For me, I can say that I'm very soft spoken, I'm understanding, or I learn things quickly. These are my three qualities. If I have to just like say it out loud, what are your similar qualities? I want you to write them down. And when this is like an homework activity for you. So what we have to do over here is, when we write those qualities down and you meet each other the next day, okay, and I really want you guys to do this, okay. So when you meet them the next day, you have to be like, you have to discuss those qualities with each other, right? So why we're asking you to do this is, when you ask your friends, okay, or the people who know you, okay, what do you think are the qualities in me, okay, so what happens is, maybe we'll be getting the same answers that we have written, or we might be getting something different, right? For example, if I have written my three qualities and someone comes and tells me, Are, you are very humorous, yeah, you're very funny, I was like, oh, I did not know that about myself. So it helps you to self reflect, right? And sometimes what happens is, when the others can see these qualities in me, why is it that I am blinded to them? Why is it that I am not able to see these qualities in me, right? That is where your self kindness and your self love comes into play, right? If others are able to see me in this positive lens, why is it that I'm not able to do that, right? And you know what you can do is, write down all the qualities, whatever you have written, and whatever qualities you have gotten as a response from your friends, or your colleagues, or the people who know you. Just write those qualities down and pin it to your desk, or wherever you sit to study, or wherever, in any corner of the house where you are constantly present. So what will happen is, when I constantly look at it now, I'm like, these are my qualities, nobody can take this away from me, this is mine, right? And I'm always going to be this. Like I am this kind with others, I'm going to be this kind to myself, right? So this is what we have to do. And this activity, I really hope you guys would do it, because uh you know this is from my first hand experience. Like I have, where I sit for my work every day, I have pinned my qualities and I look at them every single day. What happens is, when you look at it, it gets reinforced. Like, these are my qualities, this is what I can do, this is me, right? It helps you to elevate your self esteem, your confidence, and in turn, by doing this, you are going to learn to love yourself and be kind to yourself. Is everybody okay till here? Can I get a thumbs up that you will do this activity? It's going to be really helpful, guys. Great. Thank you so much for this. Okay. Can anybody tell me what is being grateful? What does grateful mean to you? What is being grateful? To put it in very simple words, it's being thankful. Yes, acknowledging something good, to be thankful. But to whom? Again, the question, to whom? Whom are we thankful for, or what are we thankful for? Is there something that we're thankful for today, at this moment? Like, I'm really thankful that, uh, you know, everything is going good right now. It can be subjective. It can be subjective. You, like, there are 79 people here, 79 people will have 79 different things to be grateful about, right? So we have to express that gratitude to the Almighty. Absolutely. We have to express that gratitude, right? Absolutely. Thankful for being in this world. Absolutely. So there are different things that we are grateful for, but do we ever express it? Yes, time to time we do. If somebody genuinely helps us, or somebody is like, oh, you know, I've understood this because of you, we say thank you. Or I have understood this because of you, we say thank you. We are being grateful, yes. But how frequently are we grateful about things? Like, are we grateful to things every day? I am. I will every day be like, when my day ends and I am about to sleep, I pray. That's a habit that I have. And I thank the Almighty. I thank the power that's there. I thank that power and be like, thank you for doing this. Thank you that I have this. Thank you for making me more courageous, for facing my problems. Right? When we get into a habit of thanking someone, right? It, the problems that we are facing, it kind of, I won't say that it reduces the intensity of the problem, no, but it increases your strength to face that problem, right? So what happens is we're generally grateful to others, to Almighty, to our friends, to our families, to our peers, to anybody and everybody who has helped us, right? How frequently are we thankful to our own selves? So now what do we say? What do we thank ourselves for? Why do we need to thank ourselves? Can anybody tell me? Why do we need to thank ourselves? We need to be thankful about, yes, for being humble and positive, for being you, just being you. I am thankful for myself because of whatever reasons you want to thank yourself for, right? For whatever effort you're putting in. Keep thanking yourself for the effort you're putting in for your education, for your career, for your uh, many different aspects of life, right? For thanking yourself. If you are facing some problem and you have still not given up, that is a big, big thanks to yourself. Why do you think you've not given up yet? Right? Why do you think? Because there's something that's motivating you, because there's something that you want to get rid of that problem. Thank yourself for that, right? Thank yourself for being there with you always. Because if I'm to tell you, if nobody else is there with you, you are always going to be there for yourself, right? That can never be something that can be detached, right? You are always going to be there for yourself, even if nobody else is there. So you have to be, or have to get into the habit of self love, self expressing gratitude to your own self, right? Every day, right? So over here also, I would like to, if in chat box, if few of you people could just tell me, what do you think you can thank yourself for? I would like to thank myself for the constant efforts that I'm putting in, for my work, for my personal life, for my emotional life. I would like to thank myself for that. Can somebody tell me, what would they want to thank themselves for? Like, we have for being better day by day. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. Being kind, being a responsible daughter, right? Like I said, if there are 75 different people over here, they'll be having 75 different reasons for being thankful to themselves, right? So this is what happens when you have reasons, when you have uh, ways to thank yourself. That's when you start being kind to your own self. Yes, for helping myself to take a best decision, right? So this is what it is. Be grateful to, of course, to the things around you, but be grateful to yourself, right? That is where self love always starts with you. Absolutely. You have to be thankful to your own self, right? It's a thing which can be practiced, and it has to be, and it needs to be, right? It's definitely the person's choice if they want to do it. But in order to feel better, to be able to more effectively face your problems, right? Because we're constantly faced with problems. To be more effectively faced with them, we need all these techniques to, uh, you know, be like, no, I'm not going to back down. I'm going to face this problem and I'm going to get over with it. We need that confidence, right? And even if nobody else is helping you, you have to help yourself, right? Is everybody okay till here? Right. So over here, great. Over here, we're trying to think about, where is my body or where is my mind right now? Is it in the past or in the future? Can anybody tell me? Where is it? Past, present, future. Where is your mind? In future. Okay. Present. If I were to ask you, how many of you, your mind is either in future or in past? I would say around 75 to 80% people would say it's either in the future or in the past. Why is it so? Why is it so? Why are we worried so much for the future? Right? Obviously, as students, as somebody who is learning, as somebody who is working, they need to secure their future. We're worried. Exactly. We're worried for what? For our future to be secure. Right? We get worried. And that's absolutely natural, and it's absolutely fine to get worried. There's absolutely no two ways about it that, you know, we are not supposed to be worried. Yes, absolutely. Mera future kaisa hoga? What if I'm not able to do it? Or what if I fumble anywhere? What if I fail? Or what if anything that happens? Yes, especially during the pandemic. What if the new variant hits our country? What is going to happen then? Right? I just need to ask you guys, does anybody have a time machine? Does anybody know how to make one or operate one? No? Are you sure? Okay. So if we don't have a time machine and if we don't know how to go to the future, why are we worrying about it so much? Right? We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what is going to be there in our future. Right? But because of that, because of worrying, because of excessively worrying about our future, we are spoiling our present. Right? We are continuously worrying about our future to an extent we are not able to focus on our present. Hana? So what happens is, the thing that is worrying us the most is our future. And I'm going to be constantly worrying in my present, sitting here and be like, oh my God, what is going to happen? Oh my God, what if this new variant hits? Oh my God, what if we go into a lockdown again? Oh my God, what if I get COVID again? We don't know if it is going to happen, right? If we don't have a time machine, we don't know what's going to happen. So instead of thinking of something which has not happened yet, isn't it better to be thinking about something which is actually going on in my mind right now? Or what am I feeling right now? Instead of getting stressed about the future, if I get stressed about my present, I can work towards it, right? And when you work in your present, that is the time your future will get secured, isn't it? So I understand that it's easier said than done. I absolutely agree. But with practice, I think we can do it, because at the end, our mind needs to be at peace. It's bigger than anything. Because if our mind is not at peace, we are not able to work properly, we are not able to be productive, we are not able to solve our emotional problems, we are not able to focus anywhere. For us to be productive, our mind needs to be at peace. And if worrying about my future is going to make my mind lose its peace, is it worth it? I would leave the answer to you guys to think, right? So this is what happens. Same thing happens with the past. Whatever, again, we don't have a time machine, right? We can't go to our past and be like, whatever has happened, I can change it. Can I? Is there a possibility? No, there isn't. So instead of worrying about what has happened in my past, isn't it better to make peace with it and move on? Right? Whatever adversity life throws us with, we have to deal with it. And if we are not able to deal with it, we have to look past it. Right? We have to be like, okay, this thing has happened in my past. It's not in my control anymore. Yes, we should be positive and think positive. Yes, absolutely. Consciously make that effort. Consciously keep yourself motivated and be like, okay, I will get out of this. Maybe I don't know how right now. Maybe somewhere down the line, I will know and I will get out of it. Absolutely. We can definitely do this. Right? Keep yourself motivated. And again, I'm saying this from a personal experience. It comes with practice. Every single waking day, you have to be, you can try to motivate yourself. Right? And once you get into the habit of it, once you get into the practice of it, we realize that it's a whole new world. We realize it's a whole new me, which I had not known before. Right? So, this is what we have to aim at. Right? Thinking and being in the present, being very mindful about what is happening right now with me and how do I need to deal with this. Are we okay till here? Okay. So over here, we are going to look at mindful body scan. So basically what you need to do is, it's an exercise which you guys can try. You can really just sit down comfortably in a comfortable position and just have deep breathing for a couple of minutes and just try to focus on your body. What am I feeling right now? What are my feet feeling? What are my toes feeling? Is there any tingling sensation? What are my feet feeling? What are my legs feeling? Slowly try to come up. Okay, what is happening in my stomach? What is, concentrate on your breathing. Concentrate how the air is going in, going out. Feel it. Right? So what happens is when you practice all of this now, your attention gets concentrated in the present. Right? It helps you get your focus back. Right? Also, we can try this on an emotional level. What am I feeling right now? Is it anger? Is it sadness? Is it happiness? Is it guilt? Whatever it is. Right? And whatever I'm feeling, how can I get out of it? If it's a bad feeling, like for example, it's anger or sadness, what can I do to make myself feel better? Right? So this is how we can practice mindful body scan. It's a technique which will help you ground yourself physically as well as emotionally. Right? So this is one thing we can definitely practice. And lastly, like we look at some well-being activities which can help us uh, feel good, which can help us be kind to others and ourselves, right? So these are some basic things which you can do. Take care of your health, right? Because your body and your mind is connected. If something happens to my health, my mind gets affected, and it's vice versa, right? So maintain a routine, uh, however your however you want to maintain it. Like however, uh, like if you say, I want to study for these many hours, take a break, do other things, do things that make you happy, right? Just exercise, or be like, I want to go for a jog, it makes me feel better, my health will improve, right? Practice these activities, it is going to help you 110%. Like I said, practice mindfulness, try to be in the present, try to be in the moment, try to get to know what you feel right now, in any moment, be it not right now, whatever. If you are faced with any situation which is stressful, which is stress inducing, practice mindfulness. Be like, "Hey, do I really need to worry this much? Okay, even if I'm worrying, I need to calm myself down, because the more I get worried, I will not be able to think about a solution." Right? So practice that mindfulness, right? Also, what you can do is music, if it helps you. Journaling, like every day, this is something that I used to do in my past. I used to write every day, whatever used to happen in my day, right? We can try to do that, and always, always, always try to analyze your problem. What is in my control? Do I need to react, or do I need to understand, right? Do I need to immediately take action on this, or can this wait? Always try and analyze it. Although it's difficult, get into the practice of it. And right, and the best thing is laughter. Laughter is the best medicine, right? So be humorous, even if you're faced with a problem. Be like, "Yare, at least ज़्यादा तो नहीं हुआ है," right? Like try to have that cheerful time with your friends, or your close people, or anybody that you like. And trust me, whatever these things are, they are going to help you in dreams and mind. Okay, so technically, what happens is your dreams are not in your control. So what happens is, when you dream something which is not something, maybe something negative, okay, what happens is your mind starts making scenarios. Okay, what if this comes true? What if whatever I've dreamt it, I'm not able to get rid of it? Your mind starts thinking about it. So when that happens, you get more stressed, and it affects your mental health, right? But if on the flip side of it, if we are like, okay, this was just a dream, does it need that much attention, right? How much ever real I would have felt in that dream, it was still a dream, right? So maybe I don't need to pay that much attention. So this is what we have to do. This is known as taking conscious efforts, right? So, whatever we spoke today about being kind to your mind, being kind to yourself, about self love, I really hope that it would help you in your future. And the activity that we had said, I really hope that you would go through with it. And I would really, really like to wish you all the best for all your future endeavors. And with this, I would like to stop my presentation. So, yeah, I really hope you would have liked the session. Also, I'll be also posting a feedback form, a link of the feedback form. And if you guys would be kind enough to fill it up, that would be really great. So kindly just give it to the people who are in the session. If you could just forward that in your groups, that would be really great. And thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. That was indeed a very nice session. Thank you for sparing your valuable time and sharing the thoughts.
Thank you so
Even
much.
even we have shared a feedback form actually. So, students, participants, please fill both the feedback forms because, like our college one is for your certification, and what ma'am has given is for ma'am's requirement. Until then, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box. Pooja would take them for us. Any questions? Good evening, Rajesh sir, and welcome.
Yes, good evening, madam. Thank you. Good evening, Nitin ji, Anu ji, good evening. Good evening, Shraddha madam.
Good evening, sir.
Anu ma'am, you can unmute yourself. I just sent you a request.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Shraddha. It was a wonderful session.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Not only beneficial for the college students, it's time to introspect for all of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And congratulations, Rotary Club of Virar, Rajesh.
Thank you, madam.
And I think we have PDG Nitin also with us.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Dude, I was telling to Vishaka madam. Madam, Nitin ji is our past district governor, and he is the main chief coordinator of all these events.
Yes.
Okay.
It is
Good
in,
evening, Nitin sir, and welcome. And thank you for all the support.
just make him a co-host, madam, if possible.
Yes, I will do that. Actually, I sent him a request also. I'll make sir co-host. Yes, sir, you can unmute yourself now, Nitin sir.
So, Nitin sir, your audio is not unmuted yet.
No, please unmute yourself.
Sir,
No, we can't hear you. You need to unmute yourself.
Nitin sir, kindly turn your audio on. Left bottom of your screen. No, sir, we
no.
can't hear you. You are muted, sir. Anuji, I think he has not unmuted.
Nitin ji, can you hear us? Are we audible? No, we can't hear you.
He must have joined with a laptop, then he can turn on the audio. No?
actually, I have sent a request to sir. If sir can just accept that also, he will be able to unmute.
Yeah, I also did the same, but then he is not responding to it.
हाँ, maybe कुछ confusion हो गई है. Oh, he's calling. Just 1 minute, he's calling me.
Please, madam.
Hello. Huh? Yes, Shraddha, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
So I think Nitinji is saying that he has lost the screen.
Oh.
And he says it's a wonderful session. And he's congratulating Rajesh also and your dream president, Rotary Club of Virar. And here is a suggestion from him that we could have some kind of a follow-up. Like feedback is instant, but then maybe after a month or two, if we could have certain follow-up, how they are benefiting from such sessions.
Absolutely.
A good idea. Like then it really works wonders.
True.
So that is for Empire to take it up.
Yes, definitely.
From our side.
Yes, definitely, ma'am.
Yes. Otherwise, your presentation was good, very simple, and like one could relate to what, at least as an adult, I could relate to what you're saying.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Rajesh, congratulations once again.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so
You
much.
are having series of webinars. That's great. Keep it up.
All thanks to Vishaka madam. He has done this terrific job of arranging so many sessions.
Yes.
So, continuous sessions have been arranged for Lala Lajpat College.
Right. And I'm
Yes.
so happy that the North Zone is doing too many sessions, and let's keep it up.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shraddha. Thank you, Nitin
Thank
ji.
you so much, sir.
And
Thanks.
thank you, Vishaka madam. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
विशाखा मैम आपकी वजह से मुझे प्रेज मिला है थैंक यू
Kind of you, sir.
थैंक यू
And yes, so I think if there are no questions, shall we move on to the last section?
Sure.
Yes. Okay. So Ayushi, you are there? Yes, please take over.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening to one and all present here. I, Ms. Aishi Taute, consider it to be a great privilege to propose a vote of thanks for an online certificate course on mental well-being, empowering self for the challenges ahead, organized by the Lala Lajpat Rai College of Commerce and Economics in collaboration with Rotary Club of Virat. I would primarily thank our resource person, Ms. Shraddha Ma'am, for her informative talk on being kind to your mind. Your explanation has taught us how to pay close attention to our feelings and be more present with the current emotional state. We have also learned the skills to relax and ground ourselves. I would also like to thank our principal, Dr. Neelam Arora ma'am, for motivating and inspiring us, which encourages us in keeping such informative courses. I would thank all the teachers present here for gracing us with their presence. I would thank our all team members who have been an immense help all throughout the session. Last but not the least, thanks to all our participants who have joined us for this event today. Once again, thank you very much to all who have assembled here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you,